Hi everybody, how's it going? We're into March here, and we've got one heck of an episode lined up for you today, so make sure you stick around to the end to find the hidden surprise somewhere in the video, plus see the big reveal at the end. So, today what we're doing is we're at the Outskirts Cafe, and we are joined by the county. So you see over here to the left of me, you see the county truck parked over here. They have been searching the area for pine beetles, as we are in British Columbia. Pine beetles are an issue. So if you don't know what they are, you go ahead and pause the video, do a quick little Google search, and come back, and you'll see just how devastating this tiny little bug can be. So, the county has been through, and they've been looking at all these pine trees here, and they have found several on this little plot of land here that have been marked with pine beetle damage. So you can see one here. And if we keep going, there should be, I think they found 4, they said. Yeah, here's another one that they've marked. And there was 2 more, I thought. They said there was 4 here. Anyway, so I've been through getting measurements here, and what the owner is calling for is they wanted to do some renovations anyway, so they said this kind of forces their hand. They will be getting a rebate back from the government. Wow, that was kind of hard to say. For the pine beetle damage on their trees. But they want to do some landscaping. So they want to turn this into a bit of a lawn. They want to throw some picnic tables down and whatnot. Now, they're going to sort the picnic tables and the furniture out themselves at a later date. Just for now, they want all of the trees gone. And they want it reseeded. Because you can see this ground is quite patchy here. So they want to make it look nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove all of these trees for them. We're going to grind out the stumps. We're going to haul off the wood. We're going to keep the wood for ourselves. We're just going to turn it into shavings. And then we're going to come back with a Harley rake. If you don't know what a Harley rake is, you will get to see one in use here shortly. And we are going to basically rip up the top 2 to 3 inches of ground here, mulch it all up, mix it all up, and we're going to throw some new grass seed down for them, as well as a little bit of starter fertilizer. So that's what we've got going on here. And I'm going to pop up on the screen a copy of the invoice here. So you can see we've got a couple different tree rates. We've got over 15 meters, over 10 meters, and under 10 meters. Those 3 are all charged at different rates. Plus we've got stump grinding, mulching, and the grass going in over top. So that's what we've got planned today. We're going to be making $17,300 off of this, so it's quite a good invoice for us. It's going to be quite a little work, so make sure you stick around and give us some support on that. And yeah, so we're going to get started on that. But first, we're going to take the old Chevy here and we're going to drop off the sweeper, because we got a guy in town that wants to buy it from me for $1,600. Now, I know we just bought this, but I'm pretty sure I've said this before on the channel, but if not, I'll say it again. The everything we have is for sale. Every single piece of equipment is always for sale. And that is, I think, with the exception of the Chevy here, because it's a leased or financed vehicle, so I can't really just sell it. But if I can buy a piece of equipment at a good rate, and I can use that piece of equipment and make money with it, and then sell that piece of equipment for more than I bought it for, I am happy on 3 fronts. I like getting new stuff, I like using new stuff and making money with it, and I like selling stuff for a profit. Now, even if I like the piece of equipment or whatever it is we're selling, and I still decide to sell it, I'm still probably going to be happy. But yeah, so that's the first order of business here, now that we've got this sorted out. And I see they're missing a little bit here. I'll see if I can talk them into letting me reseed all of this area here too. But yeah, let's get to work here, because the guy wants to meet up in about a half an hour, and it's going to take me about 20 minutes to drive there. And there we go. There's our $1,600 for the sweeper. You may also probably remember from the last episode when we picked up the skid steer, I had intentions of using it. Well, we have new equipment. So while we run back to the yard to pick up the skid steer and the dump trailer and all of the other things that we're going to need for this, we'll take a look at the new equipment, because we got that again at a steal. Alright, so here's a little update for you guys. This is one of the biggest reasons why I just sold that sweeper, because I have a new sweeper and it picks up the material. So it's a regular skid steer bucket with a sweeper right in front of it. So everything it sweeps, it just flicks up into the bucket and it carries it. So instead of having to carry a sweeper and a bucket, I have everything all in one. And I've also got a load of stone dropped off. Just pretend that it's road crush for sanding and graveling and whatnot. And we've also tipped out all of our wood chips, because we've got skid steer loaded up, and you can see a couple of caster wheels sticking way up in the air. That is part of the Harley rake. So we're going to get ready to go down there, and we're going to get this job started. And I am trying out just playing on a controller today, so steering and braking and all that stuff should be a little bit smoother. But I'm not entirely sold. I do kind of like the keyboard control for all of the different controls I can have. Oh, looks like the county is still hanging out at the cafe there. We'll merge out onto traffic. And we're going to back this thing in here. That way we're staying off the road as much as we can. There we go. Pull forward, give ourselves lots of room to work behind the trailer. Ooh. I forgot. Everything has to be done while the vehicle's running. I gotta remember what the actual controls are for this. There we go. So this is a Harley rake. It's basically a cultivator attachment for a skid steer. So it's not overly complicated in how it works. It's just, like I say, it's a skid steer attachment cultivator for doing small jobs like this. Get this parked up here. And I don't know if I'll get out of here with that, so we'll just detach it. Drop the arms. There. Kind of an awkward unit, but I'm sure it's going to work really well for this. We'll also drag this bucket out of here. We're going to need all of this space for wood. We'll just push this over here. There we go. All right. Let's get to work. I'm going to start with the smaller trees here. Actually, let's start with these things. And I do have a stump grinder rented at the dealership. So all the stumps and whatnot we can handle pretty easily. But I'm gonna do a lot of this off camera because this is gonna be very tedious. We'll see you guys in. I'll probably bring you back when I'm ready to chop the big trees. Alright, so after having been around here a little bit and clearing out the little trees, whatever you want to call these things here, I found there's only 3 trees that they have marked for pine beetle damage. It's the 3 ponderosas that they've got. And 2 of them are quite large. And where's the 3rd one? Here's the 3rd one. So that's what they've got for trees that are marked with pine beetle damage. Now I can chip them and that's fine. We don't have to worry about that. We're gonna get started on downing these trees, and I'm gonna start with the little guys first, just to make plenty of room. And then we're gonna get to the bigger trees afterwards. And I think there's only the 2 ponderosas that are 17. Let me check my notes here. Oh, I've got 4 that are over 15 meters tall. So, yeah, we've got some work cut out for us here. But let's start at the end here. I'll start with this little guy. I'll leave myself enough stump that I can clearly see it. There we go. We'll get this guy all bucked up. Yeah, there we go. That's looking good. Get this hauled off to the side here. I just want to cut tree limbs. Yeah, I guess that's as good as that's going to give me for cutting tree limbs. I might have to just buck this one up myself later, so I'll stick them off to the side. Fun little thing about Farm Sim here, I just had 3 trees in a row that were glitched. They just fell straight through the map, which is fantastic. So we have 1 pine beetle tree, 1 good pine tree, and 1 very awkward, horrible tree that I'm not looking forward to feeding through the wood chipper. And then we have the 4 remaining trees here. So hopefully this one goes nice and smooth. And it does. Alright, let's see if we can find a sweet spot here to get some tree delimbing action. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for it to go orange. I'm not seeing it go orange. Alright. And this isn't helping me because it's 160 kg, so I don't know if I've got super strength turned on. Okay, super strength is off. Ah, there it is. Immediately. There we go. There you go. That didn't go too bad. Now that ain't gonna fit in the trailer, but we'll get it staged up and ready. And these little bushes here, I can't cut them with the chainsaw, so we'll just hit them with the Harley rake when we come through. I'm pretty sure it'll mulch those like nothing. We'll get this little guy, and then we'll tackle the two big ones. That was the sound of my controller disconnecting. That's okay. We're running mouse and keyboard right now. Okay. Now for the two big ones. This first one won't be too bad, because we can just fell it into this big open space here. Make sure we got lots of angle on it. Make sure it does want to go that way. No problem. Now we have a good idea of how far this other one's going to go. There we go. Should just touch. Yeah. Looks like it's going to want to just touch the sidewalk there, so we'll kick it at an angle here. Oh, it's almost like I know what I'm doing sometimes. There we go. Turn super strength off. There we go. We've got 2 out of 3 pine beetle trees. Here's the third one. We'll just put this with them. Rotate it so that the county mark is facing up. We'll do that with the other ones as well. And that's them. Pretend I grabbed just the branch, not the trailer there. Now what to do with this ugly thing? See, I'd like to do what I just did with all of these. It's kind of random where it wants to actually grab a limb and... That feels much better. All right. Okay, now I gotta go talk to the county guy. Tell him that we've got everything cut. Good news, bad news. Good news, we don't have to worry about the pine beetle trees. Bad news, we don't get to take it and turn it into wood chips. Because pine beetles. So the county's going to come collect these, and they're going to incinerate them. So we lose out on a little bit of potential profit, but that's okay. So what we're going to do for them is we're going to cut them into a couple different lengths here, and we're just going to set them aside here beside the building. So we're just going to cut them to the same length as this little guy here. Which... Oh, I bring up the HUD, and I go right-click. That was going to be 5.5 meters. Let's make that 6 meters. 6 meters. We'll do this again. And we run out of space. Okay. It's kind of sad because that's a lot of wood. It's a lot of wood chips. Whoop, missed. Perfect. All right. Let's go grab that stump grinder and we'll be right back ready to go. Now that does attach to the skid steer, so we run it around with the skiddy, then we'll hit it with the Harley rake, and then I'll show you how we're going to seed this in a moment. Oh, I just found a stump. Well, let's get that with the chainsaw as best we can. I was really hoping that this thing would take care of these brushes, but it just isn't. Which is kind of disheartening, because I thought this would have mulched them right out. It's also not doing a whole lot to take off the grass that's here. It's just not down far enough. Well, it doesn't seem to be doing a real great job. So that was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Turns out I needed to go over the same spot like 4 times. So I'm not overly impressed with this Harley rake. Plus, I had to pull the landing gear up because the tires kept getting jammed up. And they would stop turning. I also found 2 more stumps that I missed. So that was a good hour burned just going back and forth with this thing. And I mean, it's not a very large area that I'm working with here. But you can see it all tilled up pretty nice. I'm gonna have to go back over it and back blade it all, I think, just to get rid of the tire or get rid of the track ruts. Because despite being a low ground pressure machine, this compact track loader, basically skid steer with tracks, it still rutted everything up pretty good. So spend a little bit more time with that, and then we'll show you guys how I'm going to seed this. All right, we are back home. So we've got all of our logs dropped off, all of our wood that we've cut. We've got the trailer backed in and ready to get filled up with some wood chips. We're not going to dump straight onto the pile because that's just going to blow everything everywhere. And I don't really want to contaminate my road grit with the stump grindings or wood chips. So that's where we're at there. The Harley rake is most definitely for sale. It does work. It does work very well, but it does not work as well as I expected it to. So it's up for sale. Now, the deal that I got for these and why I'm so okay with just selling these, the Harley rake and the sweeper bucket each go for $3,500. I picked up a spring sale, or I guess a pre-spring sale, whatever you want to call it, at the dealer. The two of these were $5,000. So I jumped on that. So basically, my sweeper here was $1,500, but because I sold the other sweeper, I'm getting a sweeper for $100. Like, I'm being paid $100 for the sweeper if I can sell the Harley rake at full value for $3,500, not including the work that I just did with it. So we're making money with this in a roundabout way. So that's the plan for that. Hopefully I get my $3,500 for that. But yeah, other than that, skid steer, she worked just fine. And no real complaints there. Just a little higher ground pressure than I thought it would for having tracks. But outside of that, the way that we're going to do our seating is with this magical attachment on the back of our 330. So we have a 3-point on the back of this, and we're going to throw a little spin spreader on the back of that. I got it lined up. It's $1,200 just down the road. I'll see if I can get him down to like 800 because she is beat. And yeah, I think we're off to the races there. I just need to grab some seed, and then we're good there. But we're going to yeah, let's go get this grass seeded in first, and then we'll come back and we'll run Chippy and we'll make some real money with that. I think that's a good plan. And we are back, and we're ready to start filling this machine. Take the strap off, hop in. I did also throw some weights on the front of this thing just to try and even it out, because I had a feeling like the steering might become a little suggestive and less reactive. Okay. Might have parked this a little close, it's a little awkward. But we're going to start loading this up, and we'll get right to her. All right, so that is it. We are done our big work here today. So now I'm going to go into the office here, and we're going to chat with the owners and see if we can't get paid up today, or if that's going to happen through a billing cycle or what. And there we go. $17,300. And we are all paid up. So not bad. Not bad at all. We'll get this loaded up. We'll get our pylons loaded up, and we'll head back home. And I did actually get a call from a guy wanting to purchase a piece of equipment from me. So we'll go deal with that. We'll be right back. And we're back home. So we're going to get this wood chipper fired up. Guy's going to be on his way here in about a half an hour or so. That should give us just enough time to get a lot of this done. And that Harley rake is already gone. So kind of happy with how quick of a turnaround we got with that. There we go, that should work. Get Chippy fired up. Let's see how hungry he is today. We're going to start with this horribly awkward thing first. Man, I am dropping everything. I think it's because I didn't have super strength turned on, and I think those are just right at the ragged edge of what Farm Sim will give you vanilla. There we go. That's working a little bit nicer. And as far as all the scraggly brush goes, I'm just going to roleplay it like all of those branches were able to lay down in the box of the trailer there. Yeah, that's what I had wanted. Disappears, all right. I got a funny feeling a lot of these are just going to disappear. If they even make it in. Yeah. All right, we'll handle this. So it's been a few weeks since we last saw each other here. I know it's the same episode and it looks like it's the same time for you, but in-game, couple of weeks. And we've got a big honkin' shipping crate in the back of the dually here. What do you think is in the shipping crate? I'll give you a hint. It was just shy of $8,000. Now, if you take a look in the top right corner, we've made a fair amount of money. But we haven't really. The old Chevy, she gone. Got 45 grand for that. We've done a couple other contracts here and there. Just off camera, nothing overly special. So what do you think is in the box? And have you figured out what the secret is? Why don't we spoil it for you? I'm going to pop up the invoice for this shipping crate here. Silver Run Forest Heavy Equipment Repair. Now, if we take a look at that, take a look at what it says for the machine. Printith Raptor 300. Did you guys spot it? It's been sitting here for almost the entire month. This is the Printith Raptor that we took a look at the forestry mill. This had been last episode. It does not run. You can see down at the bottom right corner, it says broken, needs to be reset. This thing is thrashed. Now the mulcher on the front end, she's doing okay. 80% damage, usable, but marginal. This beast, on the other hand, the back half. So, the story behind this. The previous guys running this, the turbo failed. One of the seals in the turbo let go, and it started just dumping oil into the intake. Which, if you guys know anything about a diesel, that gets you a runaway diesel. And shutting off the ignition and shutting off fuel doesn't stop that. So they had to hit the fire suppression, and that blew everything. So the engine is still good. The hydraulic system is still good. Everything on it still works. It can still run. However, blown turbo seal. So what that's going to do is, as soon as that engine starts running and starts making oil pressure, it's going to self-feed oil into itself. So I cannot risk starting this thing at all. So I got this thing dropped off. I got it for a steal. I got it for 8,000 delivered, which is wonderful. But we had to winch it. We had to winch it off the trailer, off to that tree there. So she's kind of cockeyed in the back here and completely immobilized because I don't dare start this thing. Because if I do, the fire suppression has already been run. There is no more fire suppression on this system, and it does not have a positive air shutoff on it for whatever reason. So I will be ordering one of those later. Right now, I just want to get this thing to run. So if we bring the invoice back up on screen, you can see we've got a reman turbo plus the installation kit. So that's got all of our gasket seals, hardware, all of the nuts, bolts, and little goodies that we need in order to properly replace this turbo. We do have extra coolant and oil because obviously we're going to have to flush all of that. And the fire suppression bottles, not cheap, $1,150 a piece, and it takes two of the things, plus all of the crusty nozzles that it ate when it did that. And we're also going to have to go through the wiring on this because that stuff is a little bit corrosive, so we're going to have to check all the plugs, clean everything up. But I have a Plymouth Raptor. I was going to say Plymouth. I think I actually did. But yeah, a Plymouth Raptor on my land, in my name, in my title, with hopefully all of the parts I need to fix it. So we're going to get started working on that. Obviously, I'm going to do that off camera because you don't need me holding up a simulated wrench and simulated nuts and bolts and simulated stuff. So we're going to do that all off camera. We're going to get this thing up and running again. It should only take me a couple of days to get everything swapped out, and then we can fire it up and see if it goes. Hopefully it goes. Wish me luck. So we're going to wheel over the toolboxes, and we're going to get started on that. Oh, we're stuck. We're stuck. Oh, that's not boding well. This is not going to go well. I gotta roll this on a lot of gravel. Hey, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Sure doesn't want to go where I tell it to go. Alright, there's one. And we'll grab the other one. And we'll get started on this. And this is day 3 of having to work on this thing. We've done an extra wiring harness that we didn't know we had to do, and a couple sensors and a module that everything there looked kind of sketchy from the fire suppression blowing on it and then sitting for about 6 months. But she's got no signs of leaking. Anything that reasonably could be a problem, I've either replaced, tightened, or just inspected. And I think we're ready to start the beast. Oh, she's alive. It moves. Yep. Seems to have full range of everything. I don't want to stress it out, and I don't want to use up anything that I've got on this, so we're going to turn it around on the gravel. I don't want to mess up my nice concrete floor here. Back it into the shop where it's actually nice to work on this thing, because it is still March. Hopefully I have enough room. Nope, I'm not going to have enough room. I'm going to have to take the mulcher off the front. So far, so good. So how's that for a little surprise at the end of the episode? Got ourselves a Prinith Raptor. I have no way of getting this thing around, because it is a little heavier than what that truck is rated to tow. So if and when I do get a job for this thing, hopefully through the summer, I'm going to arrange for transport with it, because I can't do that myself. Because one, it don't fit in the trailer, and two, the truck can't tow it. But also, speaking of trailers, I have upgraded my trailer. Sold the old one, so the old Big Tex, she's gone. Got $3,500 for that straight across, and then I got this one for $4,500. And it's got a little box on the front, it's got a little rack on the front, and it's got 2 side ramps. So I am much excited for this trailer. It is a huge improvement over the old one. And yeah, I think we're doing pretty good here. I did also take the Harley rake before I sold it. I went through and I groomed all of this grass back here, so there's no more weeds and reeds and bushes and rushes back here. It's all nice and turned into lawn. So we're doing pretty good. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys like this, make sure you subscribe, and thank you all so much for watching to the very end. And let me know down in the comments what kind of jobs you want to see this thing do and what you're most excited for. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye for now.